Good morning. Are we here? Are we up? Is it one of those conferences? Are we awake? Hi, everyone. How's it going? I feel like a Spice Girl. I don't know about you, Kris.
I feel like one too. This is new to me. So just correct me every time I screw up.
No, you're going to be just fine. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to help and listen to what I think is going to be a really, really incredible conversation with Kris. As I boost you up, you can slide me a $20 bill for all those compliments. But we're going to get, of course, into Klevr, which is super innovative, but also something that I love. It's a tool for being inclusive. But my first question is to you. You heard the bio of yourself coming out. How do you introduce yourself these days?
The accidental entrepreneur. So basically at the end of my career, kind of fell into this new world of entrepreneurial endeavors. So again, everyone asks me who I am. I just say I'm an accidental entrepreneur.
So you're not saying I'm a two-time Stanley Cup champion?
Sometimes I say two-time Stanley Cup champion.
Okay, just like a little reminder.
Depends where I am.
Obviously, Klevr is now the new baby. It's what your focus is on. Can you tell the audience that might be new to what Klevr is, what it is, but also what its mission is?
Yeah, so first off, the mission was just to give everyone the technology to be able to clip, edit, and share. So prior, when I retired from hockey, it was only really hard to use desktop versions that you could take the technology, cut it down, teach it, and then share it back to your athlete. And I'd usually have to be on 2 to 3 different platforms to do that or execute that. Klevr, I wanted to create one platform where you could get the technology, teach it, and share it efficiently and effectively back to your athletes, coaches, and parents. So that's what we've done is we've streamlined the clip, edit, and share process, and now we're working on more features to help amplify Klevr. But it's been really cool to do.
So in its essence, if I have, say, my son playing hockey, for example, and I'm a parent, I just put up my phone, I capture something that he does, and I can have that readily available for a coach within one of your communities to then give back feedback.
Exactly. Like I have a hockey academy, and I have 40 kids that they'll take shots in their driveway, and this is hockey I'm speaking of. They'll send me the video, I'll pull it up, I'll record my voice, my annotations, anything I need to teach, and then I share it directly back. And again, like I said, that process before you'd be on multiple platforms, take about an hour to do. I can teach 40 kids in under an hour now. So just that streamlined process of our software that nowhere else has.
And that's what we call efficient. I'm curious, your days playing, was there a gap that you were noticing when it came to your development that now that you think about it, Klevr now fills?
Well, it's instant coaching. And when kids see something, especially right away, they can retain that information. So an example I give is the coach tells the player to take the kid's stick in front of the net. He comes back to the bench, he doesn't get it. He goes back on the ice, he makes the same mistake. When you show them the mistake, they can retain the information, especially instantly, and then they can correct that. So I think what we can do at Klevr is create that instant video coaching that allows kids to retain that information and move on from their mistakes and then build upon that. So that's the biggest thing what we did, and that was a gap prior, and actually when I retired as well, when I was coaching and currently am coaching in the youth market. But yeah, so that's the best thing that Klevr does, and that's definitely a piece that it fills.
Is it almost also knocking down the stigma that youth are not able to take that instantly ready feedback and adjust on the fly?
It's crazy. Everyone thought like a 6, 7, 8-year-old couldn't make adjustments.
Right.
I do skating with kids. We'll take a clip, we'll show them instantly the issue. So if there's a pylon there, we'll tell them to turn left. If they're doing something wrong, we'll show them right away. Here's what you can do to correct. Instantly, they can take that feedback and apply it to what they need to do. Again, kids taking information in through the phone all the time actually even helps it, I think, retain a little bit more than even you speaking and saying it to them. So again, showing them that, letting them going back out there and executing what they need to do is very, very beneficial to the athlete.
We talk about feedback. Obviously, this is a platform where you have coaches readily available. Can you talk to me about the diversity in feedback that is available with this app?
Yeah, so we have actually 9 different sports currently on the app, coaches selling in the marketplace. We have Catherine Hill and Ben Augusto, Ben was actually a silver medalist figure skater, so he has some athletes in South Korea, and they do feedback back and forth. We have a rugby player, Ray Barkwell, played for Team Canada. He coaches kids in England. So again, we have different sports across the marketplace teaching different things. And yeah, so you can basically come into Klevr and check out a lot of our cool coaches inside our marketplace.
And to my understanding, you can apply as a coach
You can apply as a coach. Obviously, there's a process to be accepted into the coaching marketplace. And since we only have so much infrastructure in the back end, we can't just allow everyone. So a lot of the coaches currently in our marketplace are close circle friends and people that we know very, very well that have high credentials.
Is there a common thread when it comes to what you're looking for and how kids can benefit from the conversations that they're having that the coaches you have now have?
Well, just the direct access digitally to those coaches, which before, if you're a kid and you're in a small town in Canada or US, maybe you can't get that information, or you can't get that help from someone of that stature that could give you maybe a benefit that would help you down the road. So now on Klevr, you could reach out to myself. You can reach out to top-end skating coaches, rugby coach. We have a great basketball coach. So now you can reach out to them from places where previously you couldn't get that information from.
You know, when I was reading about this app, I thought the most interesting but beautiful thing about this app is the level of accessibility it provides to youth. I'm a first-gen Canadian. I was not put into hockey when my mom was trying to put me into sports because she simply could not afford it. Yeah. And I'm always thinking about, well, damn, if she could afford it, could I actually stay in it because of the amount of resources you have to pour into the coaching and other things to allow you to continue your passion? This breaks down a lot of barriers.
Well, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to give a low-cost option to all the athletes, parents, and coaches in our market, where, again, everything is so designed for the NHL teams, the AHL teams, NCAA. So if you're giving these parents now a low-cost option to help their athletes, this is the most beneficial piece. And if we're talking about North America in general, and we're talking about our 4 American leagues, major American leagues, the way and just the cost barrier now into sport is getting out of control. And in Europe, they've kind of figured it out where Barcelona, you can allow this kid to come to Barcelona and develop. Again, this player goes to the free market generally at 18 that then can bring money back to the club. But these players can get into these organizations at low cost. In Canada, there's really no incentive for the Toronto Maple Leafs to create a grassroots program to keep costs down because at 18 they lose them to the draft. So if I'm looking at myself, how can you help the athletes create things at low cost? Klevr was the first most effective way that I thought of that could help the athlete.
You know, what's interesting is a lot of brands these days, new developing acts, focus on the 1%, the people that are going to make it, the people that are going to make them look super, super intelligent for spotting them early. This focuses on the other 99. Why was it important for you to make sure this was more general in focus and allowing people to feel like this is attainable goals that they can set?
Well, it's the most underserved market in a fractured sport market. The youth sport market currently to date is roughly $37 billion and going to $70 billion, I think, by 2030. So this market in video is $4 billion currently to date, the youth sport video market. And for the sports, they're all designed for the high-end academy, the kids who can pay at the top. Nothing within that $4 billion market for video directed at these athletes and parents and coaches is directed to the rest of the 99.
Right.
So this is what Klevr does, is it gives access to the rest of the 99 within this massive youth sport market to access great technology that helps them get an edge.
And not only are you mentioning 99 when it comes to just youth athletes, but you're very intentional about always including coaches and parents. Why was it so important to make sure that they were all a part of the conversation? Yeah,
the parents are key. I think, again, you look at everything else out there, it's just for a coach to coach and a coach to athlete. We decided to add the parent because the parent is the most influential piece in the youth athlete's journey. So if you can get to the parent to make them understand that this can make them better, and that parent then now can give the information back to their athlete, that's the person we wanted in our app the most. So actually, if you look at our user base and our most active users, generally it is the parent. It's the parent using our camera features. It's the parent sharing to the coach. It's the parent sharing back to the kid. The parent is the most influential piece on Klevr, and you're right, it's directly what we want.
Well, that's what I was going to ask next is, what is the feedback that you're getting from parents in terms of what they're seeing from the online feedback that they're getting from coaches to what then translates to their kids?
Well, just take simply shooting again in the driveway. Their kid could be shooting the puck wrong, and if you shoot the puck wrong at the age 5 and you've never gotten any technical feedback until 10, then you've worked at a 5% rate.
Right.
But if you can get on Klevr and reach out to myself or other coaches, and you can be technically taught how to shoot at a young age, you're making 5,000% leaps by the age of 10. So then you could work on other things rather than regressing back to working on old technique or old habits. So again, all the things that we've been talked about is the parents love how their kids can get feedback right away, fix certain habits, and then they can start to grow and work on other things rather than regressing.
Well, I was looking at some videos, and there was a parent that said that their kid couldn't get on the ice for a few days, and it said he had him in the basement shooting at a bottle cap, which was really great, and I love the highlights from that. There's also a new part, of course, of this app called Monetize Your Move. Can you explain what that is?
So again, it's just for coaches to monetize their digital brands. So you have all these coaches now that are going on YouTube. They're going on to, Instagram.
Yeah.
So now it's giving them not only the access to come on and sell, video asset packs, so stock content, they can also take that content, or an athlete could buy that content, do what they need to do to get better with it, and then reach back out to them to say, hey, I bought your package, what else can I do? So again, just a shooting package for me, the kid takes it home, he works on it, then sends me a video for me to teach, again, on top of that stock content. So it's, again, the two-way communication that YouTube doesn't provide or that Instagram doesn't provide, because now you're actually not just helping player with selling them the content, you're actually helping them get better after they utilize it too.
In a way, is it making a lot more succinct for coaches to just sort of streamline their business to this one app as well?
Exactly. That's what we want. We want an ecosystem for coaches where they can have off ice, just using hockey. Again, we have multiple different sports, off ice, on ice.
Right.
Different types of training, different types of rehab, whatever it may be. That's the end goal, to create one ecosystem app where everyone could be on it for everything.
Where this could feel like it's super individualistic, community seems to be a pillar of your standard. Why is that?
Well, again, community it's massive, and it's essential for the kids to be a part of sport, because when they're a part of community, then it's better not only for each and every person inside their own community, but it's better for their families, and it's better for everyone, and then it gives them something to be a part of. Community is massive, and again, I have my own hockey academy, and you see how much the kids love coming every day. They love pulling over the jersey. They love being a part of something. They create friendships, kids with the same aspirations and the same goals that move them ahead, and it keeps them out of trouble. I remember my grandma always said, we were very poor growing up, and she always said, I kept you in hockey because I didn't want you to go to jail like the rest of the people you used to hang out with. So it's very, very important to have a community aspect, not only the app, but just in general for these kids to keep moving forward and stay out of trouble.
And this is going to be a point where we're going to see leagues in the next year you were mentioning that can stem from Klevr, correct?
Yeah.
Where we can kind of have everybody a part of the app, kind of face each other one-on-one.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we now have a U7, U8, U9 competitive league. It's currently competitive at the Tier 1, Tier 2 level, and it's across all Ontario. We have 50 teams. It's grown very rapidly. We definitely don't have the infrastructure to have more than that. I would love there to be every single age, every division.
Right.
Right now, obviously, we're very focused on the U7, U8, U9, Tier 1, Tier 2, just because the ice times vary at a premium in Canada and hard to get. But it's been great to see all the athletes then come on Klevr. They can utilize our technology to get better, and then obviously they can share highlights with their friends and families, and keep close tabs on them that way as well.
For something that feels so online driven, how is that transferring that currency in the real life are you seeing?
Can you ask that question again?
Yeah, for sure, because I also did not make any sense. For something that feels just so online, Reddit, with that information that's available online, how are you seeing the impact pay off in person from a personal development standpoint?
Well, just everything that's coming online now, the kids are on their phone all the time. They're receiving information through their iPad. So how are you going to get into their space? How are you going to hack the brain, essentially, in order to let them see what they need to do to get better? So that's why Klevr is very focused on phones and tablets at the moment, because kids are on phones and tablets more than anything. And if you're giving them a good platform to be a part of that allows them education piece and to get better, well, that's what we wanted. So again, the online portion is huge in order to getting these players better, and Klevr is the best way to do it.
Is there any data or trends that you're identifying now with Klevr that might have a major impact in sport development as we look ahead?
Yeah, so the first thing, actually, we just launched it yesterday. It's a very cool feature. It's called Klevr Motion, And with the phone and in the camera function, it allows you to see a vert, so an athlete's vertical or speed, and then that allows you to track it over a period of time. So you can have their metrics for a period of time. You can see how much they're improving, how much faster they're getting, whether it's comparative to their peers in their local area, country, world basis. So we are adding a gamification piece to it, where then you could challenge another athlete to see how high their vert is, how fast they are, and obviously we're building upon that for arm speed and other pieces to the gamification side. But this was just launched yesterday, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, you can literally go in it and see how high your kid can jump just with the phone, and rather than having hardware all over.
Are there hopes to do maybe some collaboration with some of the major sports leagues in future?
I would love it. I would love it.
And what would that look like? And in order for it to be a perfect partnership for you, of course.
Yeah, I think the partnership with sports leagues for them is just to understand that in order to make these sports leagues bigger and better, you need the best athletes around.
Right.
And the grassroots programs are essential to getting the best athletes. And if we keep losing the best athletes with a cost barrier issue, then that's no good. So that's why it's very essential for us, or for the NHL, MLB, all these major leagues, to really turn focus to the grassroots programs, even if it's creating their own academies, even though they might lose these players at a draft one day. But if they're going to grab the best athletes in the world and give them access, it's very critical that they do it. And that's a piece that I would love to be a part of on a partnership with them.
Where do you guys start in terms of the feedback of age groups?
Yeah, so 6 years old.
Yeah.
It's 6 years old. I have my academy. It starts at 6, 7, 8. And just from simple things of shooting,
right,
skating, and in basketball shooting, whatever it may be, we have kids as young as 6 learning on the platform.
Are you able to identify at that age group already, like, who might have the great potential,
yeah,
who can pick up? What are you seeing? Because I would feel like they're just all playing sports. I can't identify anything.
Yeah, it's kind of funny listening to some parents who are like, what's this kid doing? And I'm like, well, he's been touched by God.
Yeah.
He's a very good athlete. It's just like when I was growing up, I was never the smartest guy in math class, so don't put me in math class.
I failed English 3 times. It's a wonder I speak.
Yeah, that's why I have my brother here. He's the math guy. But anyways, so it is very important that that happens.
You mentioned your brother. I know we have a couple of minutes to fill. You work with both of your brothers on this app.
Both, yeah. One's a hockey player and one's a banker.
How does that work out? Actually, I don't want to ask any triggering questions, but what was the conversation between you three when it came to the inception of a brand like this?
Yeah, so when it actually started with my other brother, and again, it was just it was very cumbersome to do video coaching at the start for me and my other brother, who actually started a consultation company, because we had to use desktop, we had to learn how to use that technology. So me and my brother got together, other brother Mitch, and we actually met with a company about starting to build the technology that would allow us to streamline this process. We then realized we needed business people involved, maybe people that could add and subtract. So we brought my other brother and our CEO now, Justin DiGiotano, in on the business end to help us either raise capital, bring us to figure out different business and revenue options and revenue streams. So again, there's so much that goes into a startup. Like I said, the only thing I knew about scale at the start of this whole process was to stand on one. I didn't know what scale meant, especially like transitioning out of playing pro sports. So to have business people like Justin and Bryce now involved helping us with this process,
right,
it's actually helping the company transform.
Well, Kris, for yourself, you think about your career, the longevity, the Stanley Cup wins, the teams, all of the things. You have the ultimate goal and pinnacle when it comes to the finish line. Why was it so important for you to focus with this new company on the starting line for other people?
Again, it was completely accidental. I had my agent and I had parents during COVID reach out to me asking me to coach. And it was just very hard to do. And I just felt there was a gap in the market and there was nothing that was filling it. So Klevr, that, again, gave birth to Klevr. And then you start pushing on and you finding other coaches and other parents and other athletes aren't having the same access to good video information or video technology that's very easy to use. So then it just kind of kept growing from there. And then all of a sudden it's like, I got to raise a little money to grow it. I got to do this.
Yeah.
So again, then all of a sudden you start to get you start to get involved with, again, people like Justin, our CEO, that have done this before, that start to put us on the pathway in order to make this super successful. And then that gives you even more motivation to grow it and to do more with it.
I know there's people in the audience who are like, Kayla, just get to the T. If there are investors in this audience and they're kind of piquing interest in this, why is it a smart business decision now to align yourself with Klevr?
Well, I think it's just the start. I think currently we are still in a friends and family round, and we're still raising capital, and we're going into our first, our first revenue option is the marketplace, but we believe that's going to be ancillary revenue for what Klevr does. We do believe the gamification and the Klevr.AI motion camera is where we're going to go, and it's going to be our first true revenue option, rev share option with organizations, and I think that's why we're at the very base here, and I think it's going to be pretty big one day. I hope it is.
What does big look like, big picture for this group?
It's the #1 youth sports app in the world. That's the big picture. That's our goal. That's what we want it to do and where we want it to be, because we believe this does have the ability to help so many athletes across not just Canada, US, but the planet.
With coaches and parents that might also be in this audience, I just want to give them a quick takeaway. What tangible action items can they do right now with Klevr to ensure that their kids are set up for success?
Yeah, well, first off, download it. You can go on YouTube, check out tutorials. You can see how it's used best, especially for your athlete, whether it's just to capture highlights, whether it's to capture teachable moments, whatever it may be. So again, www.Klevr.AI, you can visit that, see a little bit more about it, and obviously always reach out to us if you ever want to know more.
www.Klevr.AI. Please reach out. It is such an incredible app. Kris, thank you so much for taking the time, and much success, I'm sure, is coming in your career.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.